I don't care about my wife's dreams. My wife wants to be an influencer on social media, making mommy content and sharing her daily life. When she first told me about her dreams, I didn't have an issue with it, but I made one thing clear: I didn't want our kids, a 3-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy, to appear in any of her videos. I didn't really keep tabs on her channel because it didn't seem necessary. However, I recently decided to check out her content, thinking it might be cute to see what she does each day. To my surprise, I found our children's faces in nearly all of her videos. I told her she needed to take down all the videos featuring our kids. She said she knew I wouldn't agree, but she didn't think it was a big deal. I explained that I don't like the idea of our kids being in so much content. I feel that when children become part of online profit, they can be treated less like kids and more like products, with interactions becoming performative. I could see this happening with her because she posted a video of her dealing with our 2-year-old's tantrum, and instead of comforting our crying child, her first instinct was to record it. In our argument, I was firm, saying I simply didn't care about her dream. I even went as far as saying that if she didn't delete the content, I would consider divorce. I understand that many people share their kids on social media, and I don't mind an occasional Instagram or Facebook post, but making videos feels too personal to me. She told her friends and hinted on her social media that I'm an overbearing and self-absorbed husband who doesn't want her on social media, and now her friends are ridiculing me. So, am I going too far here? Is it me being controlling or self-centered? Just to clarify, the content isn't necessarily harmful, it's about her feeding and playing with the kids. However, the two types of videos that bother me are the ones where our children are having tantrums and the ones featuring our 2-year-old in diapers. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my autistic cousin at my child-free wedding? Next spring, I'm getting married to the love of my life. We've decided that we don't want kids at our wedding, and most of our friends and family are cool with it. The ones with young kids are getting sitters for the weekend, and we gave them plenty of notice. However, the only ones causing trouble are my aunt and uncle, who have a daughter with autism. She's 20 now but will be 21 by the time of my wedding. They call her high-functioning, which means she can talk, dress herself, and has some friends. She graduated from high school a couple of years ago and works at a grocery store while living with her parents. Even though she's technically an adult, I don't see her that way. Whenever we talk at family gatherings, it's like talking to a child. She's really into toy ponies and Barbie dolls and brings them up all the time. She's always drawing in her notebook and never makes eye contact when we chat. She doesn't have loud meltdowns like some other special needs kids I've met, but I don't want to risk her ruining my special day. I told my aunt and uncle that I didn't want her there, and they got really upset. They said she already saw the invite and thought she was still included because it's a child-free wedding, not an adult-only one. My aunt tried to make me feel guilty, saying she'd already picked out a dress and a gift, but I didn't want to hear it. My fiancé thinks I'm being mean and that we should let her come because she's been to other weddings without any problems. Everyone's making me feel awful for not treating her like an adult when she doesn't act like one. Am I in the wrong? My wife wants to have a baby, but I'm scared she'll stop loving the kids we already have. It all started when I was 16, and I went to my first party where I ended up losing my virginity. Later, I found out that the girl was pregnant, and she wanted to get an abortion. But my parents were against it, and they convinced her to keep the baby. They promised her some money, and when the twins were born, she signed away her parental rights. Those boys mean the world to me. I met my now wife in college when I was 21, and she was 19. I fell in love with her instantly. She was smart, beautiful, and had some serious knife skills. She was caring, and when I told her about my kids, she was cool with it. Later, she met the boys, and they all got along famously. We got married when I was 24 and she was 22. She moved in, and everything seemed great. My boys adored her, and she cared for them deeply. We were one big happy family. However, things changed when my wife's dream trip came up. She had always wanted to take her kids on this trip since she was a child, and we had it planned for 3 years. But a while back, my kids got bullied at school for having a black mom. They faced racism and disrespect. It was hard for them, and my wife stopped going to their school. Then, their biological mom, who we'll call B, came back into the picture, wanting to check on her kids. My wife thought it would be good for the boys to meet her, and they did. Then came the trip, and my wife was excited to take the boys, but we only had 4 tickets, and the trip was meticulously planned out. We couldn't accommodate a 5th person, and my wife begged, but I said no. When I went on a business trip for 2 days, things went haywire. The boys defied my wife's orders, and one of them even slapped her. When I came home, everything was different. The house was quiet, and no one came to greet me like they usually did. I found out what had happened, and I scolded the boys and canceled the trip. My wife wasn't happy about it, and I went on the trip instead of her. When I got back, I noticed things were off. My wife was distant from the boys, not hugging or kissing them like before. She said she wasn't their mother and didn't feel the same way anymore. Now, my wife wants a baby, but I'm afraid that if I agree, she'll stop loving the kids we have now. She's always wanted kids, but before we got married, she said she didn't want any more since she already had the 2 boys. How should I handle this situation?